I recently read a comment on a poll where I asked people, what would you dream of making money with? And Arthur Koopman answered this. I'm siding with I don't know how to pronounce this. It's Bookvik. Painting comes first. The rest is distraction. As he gets older, he spends even more of his time painting instead of giving workshops and things like that. Now, this is very common belief where we painters, we artists, we founders, we business people think that if we only spend enough time on the artworks, on the product, on the thing that we are giving to the customer, then everything else will follow in its place. Now, I might be interpreting this comment wrongly. I'm sorry if that's the case, Arthur, but I see this a lot. Artists thinking that art is the most important thing, that the quality of the art will speak for itself, and that the quality of the art will market itself, that the artwork has the ability to market and sell itself automatically if and only if you make it good enough. Now, this notion is complete BS and is extremely dangerous for artists, for business people, for founders, for creatives. In The Creative Curve, I read the following story. A story of a guy who invented natural selection, who went in nature 10 years, 20 years, investigating everything that he could get his hands on, who went on boat trips, who did everything, obsessed with nature, and then finally after 2 decades he discovered how evolution worked and called it natural selection. Now, most of us listening, myself included, when I was reading that book, I was thinking that the author was talking about Darwin. Of course, Darwin, natural selection, evolution, that's Darwin. But it turns out that he was talking about Alfred Wallace. And Alfred Wallace was also somebody around that same period of time who also discovered natural selection, who was also obsessed with the whole thing, just like Darwin. And they independently discovered or revealed evolution, how it worked, and called it natural selection. And so what's the difference between Darwin and Wallace? Well, the difference is that Darwin at some point discovered that there was another guy who also invented or also found natural selection, was also working on that, and with the name of Wallace. And when he heard about this, he decided to quickly publish his findings, prematurely a little bit, and quickly go on a series of intellectual keynotes that would establish him as the true founder of this theory. And when Wallace heard about Darwin, Wallace decided that he would work on his theory a little bit further, that he would let it sink in, and that when the time was ripe, he would come out with it. Lo and behold, now we all remember Darwin, and everybody forgot about Wallace. And so the couple of seconds where Darwin decided, hey, wait a minute, we both are equally qualitative, we both have found this thing, we both have discovered this amazing thing. Now it's a matter of who is first and who will market it better. Those couple of seconds where he decided to write a book about it, that was what made all the difference. The difference between Wallace and Darwin is marketing. The difference between being remembered for eternity and being completely forgotten is a couple of seconds of marketing. One decision to write a book that you will write anyway, but just making sure that the timing is perfect. That made all the difference. And you see these stories over and over and over again. A famous one that I read in How Innovation Works by Matt Radley, where he explains how Thomas Edison indeed invented the light bulb, but he was not the only one. There were about 20 scientists before him who also discovered the light bulb, who also wrote about it, who also came up with a fully working theory of the light bulb, some even a practical application of the light bulb, and some had more efficient ways of generating the light bulb than Thomas Edison. What's the difference between those 20 scientists and Thomas Edison? It's marketing. That's the difference. We remember Thomas Edison for eternity. We will forget about all these 20 scientists. Why? Because of marketing. In an ideal world, art would be the only thing. In an ideal world, making great art would be the only necessity. And in an ideal world, we would all value each other based on their skill, based on the actual results of what they are doing. But we don't live in that ideal world. We live in a world where perception is king, perception rules. And if you can't influence that perception, then you are lost. The truth is that art is a necessity, but it's completely unimportant. In other words, it is a minimum requirement, and without the quality in the art, nothing else is possible. But with just the quality of the art, nothing is possible either. And so you need something more. You need marketing. You need to be able to influence the perception. That's it. If you want to start working on your marketing skills, I would recommend my video, How to Become Famous. Smart artists do this. I will link it up in the description and in the end screens. That said, get the hell out of here.